Dosto, I have Abhishek Asthana, who many of you will know on Twitter by the persona of Gabbar Singh. With how many B's? Abhishek, three B's, right?
B's, yeah. Three B's.
Big, big, bold and beautiful. Yeah, ऐसा कुछ है उसका
Nothing
three
like.
B का connection.
It was the only handle available that time.
ठीक है. Now, Abhishek, I know you don't like this term social media influencer, and
Yeah.
that's a valid thing. But the fact is, you are one. Okay. इतने 1.3, 1.5 million?
1.3, yeah.
1.3 billion. Okay. Now tell me something. First of all, when did you take to Twitter and what was the reason behind it?
So I'll tell you. It was in the year 2010.
10.
10 years ago, right? So I used to blog a lot. I used to have a small blog called Garam Bheja Fry. Not many people know. It was basically about, usual what you do on Twitter. Usually, you'd make blog posts out of it. So one fine day, I figured out that on this silly pretext of a joke that people follow each other on Twitter, right? Right. So it was like, what would happen if Sholay characters are on Twitter? Right. And Basanti was being followed by those Dakus, right? I was like, if suppose there's a Basanti account and they are like the only handles following that Basanti were Dakus. Like 10 Dakus passing on, all with mustache and everything. I said, just make, I was a kid that time. So it was a silly idea of a blog post. So I thought, why can't I do such a thing on my blog? So the first idea was I'll just Photoshop things and make a blog post out of it. Then I thought Photoshop would be too much effort. Let's make some account. And basically
वहां भी आलस दिखाया आपने.
हाँ I was like यार कौन इतना बनाएगा यार. Let's क्या करते हैं कि बस अकाउंट बना देते हैं, स्क्रीनशॉट लेंगे और अकाउंट डिलीट कर देंगे. So I made 3 accounts. मैंने एक बनाया बसंती का अकाउंट, एक कालिया और एक गब्बर. Right. तो अभी क्या हुआ कि वो बना के मैंने 2-3 ट्वीट कर दिए उस पे और to take the screenshots. And I already had an account on Twitter, by the way, by my real name. And it had like 250 followers कुछ थे उस पे. And all of them were my email contacts who had my Twitter. So I was like ठीक है करते हैं. तो मैंने बनाया accounts and I took screenshots, went to my blog post and thought of good ideas to write. And when I came back, I saw I deleted Basanti, I deleted Kalia, and then when I went to Gabbbar, I saw 20 retweets. And 20 retweets, inflation adjusted, would be 1,000 retweets now.
Correct.
So basically, I was like, oh, dude, this is working out. Some people had figured out it was Gabbbar Singh hai. And Twitter that time was more a very serious medium. Only the early adopters of tech, like journalists or tech people who used to be there. So they found this a welcome change, that Twitter could be a medium for humor as well. So by that time, there was no humor on Twitter. It was mostly like news reporting and serious stuff, people peddling their own work. So there was a kind of a change for people, so people started following. And I was like, यार ये तो बढ़िया चल रहा है. And 2-3 दिन बाद क्या हुआ ना कि I was in a PG that time in Bangalore. And suddenly I figured out that my एक PG का बगल में एक रूम था, उसमें से बंदा आया, बोला कि dude, you should follow this guy on Twitter. He's called Gabbbar Singh. I was like, ये तो बढ़िया चल रहा है, कुछ चला. So I was like, ठीक है, चलो चलते हैं. उसके बाद फिर then I started posting up stuff. And it's like a addiction of validation, right? Every day you come on Twitter and post something, and it's like a slow kind of. It intoxicates you. Yeah. But you know what the best part is? A lot of people ask me, यार ये Twitter पे बड़े followers हैं तुम्हारे, ये famous हो गए हो. So I give them this simple example. It's like being famous on Twitter is like having a sweet shop in Saharanpur. It's the best sweet shop in Saharanpur, and all the people in Saharanpur know about it, and they swear by it कि भाई क्या मिठाई बनती है यहाँ पे, मजा आ गया. When that guy goes to Delhi and tells कि यार ये तुमने सुना है इस गब्बर मिठाई शॉप के बारे में, मैंने नहीं, मैं तो सहारनपुर से हुई नहीं, तो चलो. So nobody knows outside that, right? Suppose is your fame is as good as when your friend introduces you to someone else saying this ये मिलो, ये गब्बर सिंह है, ट्विटर पे इतने फॉलोअर्स हैं इनके. बोलते मैं तो ट्विटर पे हुई नहीं, सॉरी मैं जानता नहीं हूँ. तो दैट्स वेयर योर रियल आइडेंटिटी कम्स फोर्थ कि हाँ नहीं सॉरी मैं अभिषेक अस्थाना हूँ, ये गब्बर सिंह कुछ नहीं है. तो इट्स लाइक दैट. So you can't
no, as in that's a very honest and simplistic way of looking at it. But the point is, when you have 1 million followers, that sort of becomes the different persona, right? So हम
Hmm.
जब आपके tweets देखते हैं, how
Hmm.
much of it is Abhishek and how much of it is Gabbar Singh? Do the lines get blurred या क्या है?
See, ideas are mine, of course. I mean, they can't be someone else. But
बिल्कुल.
attitude-wise, I would say I'm not that person in real life.
At the start, perhaps 2010-11, was there a different Abhishek tweeting?
No, in the sense, see, this isn't one attitude. See, once you're anonymous, right? It gives you
Hmm.
some kind of power as well.
Hmm.
See, now I have it's like a soft anonymity. People know. Suppose someone wants to know, they'll know, figure out that who's this guy and where does he work and everything. So it's not real anonymous, but still
Hmm.
that anonymity has rubbed off. Still, it gives me that courage to put out stuff. I can troll journalists as well, some Rahul Kanwal and all these guys. So that happens.
करिए
So,
करिए.
yeah. So वो है लेकिन but in real life see I'm one guy who was really concerned about my career because I
Hmm.
come from humble backgrounds and from a tier 3 town. But then what happens is so the first and foremost thing is to secure your or career and as well as I'm not finding the right word for it, but basically making sure that you are on the right path, right?
Sure.
And eventually you are able to provide for your dependents and your family. So, and I never thought that Twitter could be one medium which could replace my career. So I always kept it as a hobby. चल रहा है साथ में चल रहा है ठीक है अच्छी बात है लेकिन ये ऐसा नहीं हो कि मैं जॉब छोड़ के बोलूंगा मैं ट्वीट करूंगा कल से बैठ के
Sure. Makes sense.
हाँ so
But there's all. Huh.
yeah question
Yeah.
I run out of ideas yeah tell me.
No, I'm saying, but there's also no denying that Twitter has actually helped your career. You mentioned itself that
Absolutely. It has opened a lot of.
now the business now, bilkul. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So the thing is, so I was an engineer, then went for an MBA. It's a typical normal guy career path, basically. कि आप पहले engineering करो, फिर tech में काम करो. I was in South Korea. I was working in Samsung there, and I was coding handsets, mobile handsets that time. It was hardcore tech job, but then I realized कि नहीं यार, all my friends are going for an MBA, and that's I'll tell you very honestly, that's the primary reason 90% of people go for an MBA because people around them, their peer group, is going for an MBA. So I was like यार सब लोग कर रहे हैं मुझे भी करना चाहिए. I'll be honest. I mean it was no like कि मैं 20 साल बाद कुछ ये करूँगा ये तोड़फोड़ मचाऊँगा. तो I went for it and eventually got through and everything and Twitter चल रहा था साथ में. तो धीरे following बढ़ रही थी. So people started noticing. In one interview, I remember during my B school, one guy said कि okay, I wrote on my CV as well कि मैं Twitter पे कुछ करता हूँ. So he like कि okay. So he told me कि do you know Gabbbar Singh and all that. So he was the follower of Gabbbar Singh. Imagine. And the worst part is he unfollowed me as well. You tweet a lot. That's why I haven't followed you. I said okay. And that was fun. So it opened doors for me at various points. Even in my last job I was, because of that, it gave me an advantage. Yeah, that I would certainly confess to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, obviously, of course, since 2010, अगर हम देखें 2020, that's obviously the game has changed. There are many people who perhaps even are inspired by what you do and they try to use your thing. But I think, see, I've also been following you now on Twitter for a long time. I think what sort of distinguishes you is you don't hold back from sharing your views, and your views are it's not just about one thing. I've seen you tweet about everything. हाँ, कुछ चीजें joke में कुछ थोड़ा you control a journalist, but there is also what comes across as a genuine concern for the country, for the people when things are going wrong, be it this government or the last one. You've never held back. Is that how you were from the start, or is that perhaps something which has come along as you matured through your various jobs, through the experience of being on Twitter for so long?
Yes. See, of course, I've grown on Twitter. I've moved from my 20s to 30s on Twitter. So that's the when you actually learn about a lot of things. You start earning money. You from a dependent, you become a provider. And that's a big switch, actually. So then you have responsibilities on you as well. I got married during this period. I finished my education as well during the time I was on Twitter. So a lot of things have changed in my life as well. So and during this time, I've realized that what really matters, right? The idealism. So it's basically a journey from idealism to pragmatism. right? When you were idealistic once, and then you realize, no, this is not what the ground reality is, right? So in my opinion as well, on Twitter, I try to be pragmatic, right? I try to tell people that fine, with my experience, whatever I've seen in my life, and this is what I've seen, I think this is right. And eventually, everyone's goal is to lift oneself and their dependents out of poverty, right? If suppose someone is a lower middle class, he wants to become middle class wants to become an upper middle class guy. So everybody wants to rise up the strata, societal strata, right? So and to basically achieve that objective, I tell people that fine, ये सब करो जो मैंने किया है, मुझे लगता है ये सब करना चाहिए लोगों को, और these things matter. Other things are frivolous, हो सकता है कि ठीक है, लेकिन ultimately what matters is this, right? I mean, it could be because I was not that privileged, but some people with privilege might see कि यार, मतलब ठीक है, privilege is relative anyway. I will be far more privileged than someone who's like a villager who was like scheduled caste or something like. So even then, in this relative privilege spectrum, I would say कि I find, I tell people that fine, अगर तुम, lots of people come to me and say कि यार I'm in a government job right now, what should I do? Should I go for an MBA or stick to a government job? So I tell them, देखो यार, the first and foremost thing is to finish your education as early as possible, right? I mean, then you go in, because that's when you start applying things you have learned, right? And then you grow. So point is कि I have learned in this period, I have also grown wiser, and I will say that 5 years from now, if suppose I look back at my tweets, which I'm tweeting right now, I might find them funny. ये क्या बेवकूफ आदमी, क्या कुछ क्या लिख रहा था. So it's an evolution. It's an evolutionary process.
Absolutely, it's a natural growth.
Yeah. So that will happen. So that's how I have grown. That's how I've learned. So in each phase of this, like let's say I'm at this phase right now, the people who are at the same phase as mine might find my, my stuff relevant to them, right? So they'll say कि ठीक है, ये जो बोल रहा है मुझे समझ में आ रहा है. Let's say if suppose I'm talking about work from home, people who are working from home will relate to it, maybe, right? So ऐसे धीरे धीरे सीख रहे हैं, मतलब हम सब सीख ही रहे हैं बैठ के यहाँ, और we are learning every day. Just that curiosity and that learning process should not stop.
How do you deal with the criticism or ये troll जो है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग जो हैं, they say यार छोड़ो, it's not worth, or they engage with everyone, but you don't hold back from saying कि नहीं भाई ये मेरा view है, or even जो view है वो ठीक नहीं यार, it's not easy.
हाँ नहीं, देखिए क्या होता है कि see, trolls will be there once you have people who are reading your stuff. So law of averages will say that at least not everyone will agree with you, right? Obviously there are people who will not agree with you, will have different views, who would have had different upbringing and different set of variables in which they have grown up with. So they'll have a different view than you, right? So I take it fine, यार ठीक है, तुमको मेरा view पसंद नहीं है, if you think I'm wrong, fine. I mean, but I won't like hold back. I won't like take down my view because you are disagreeing with it, right? It's my view. You also put forth your view. Freedom of expression है. सब लोग जिसको बोलना है बोलेंगे. Some people, तो एक strategy ये है कि you be ignorant. If you, let's say कि आपको कोई troll कुछ बोल रहा है, आपने कुछ नहीं बोला, आप शांति हो. मतलब कि I don't want to acknowledge. लोग से ना, people say कि we don't want to dignify this with a response.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, so a lot of people do that. But I was like, ठीक है, I'll engage with people. What does it matter? Who am I? I'm not some kind of an offline celebrity or something to have the airs of like not dignifying with someone with a response. I say, I'll engage with you. यार क्या है? मैं बात करता हूँ तेरे से, क्या है? मतलब उसमें कुछ खास वो नहीं है. So I'm like a normal person यार on Twitter. कुछ वो नहीं है. I talk to everyone. That's the thing.
Yeah. Just coming back to the part about how it's helped your fledgling business career of your own start. Do you remember the first time when people started saying, "Yeah, ये हमारा brand," I'm a big is coming to you saying, "ये tweet करो." How of that brand, या जो भी आएगा, I'll endorse it. By endorse, I mean a retweet or a quote or क्या है? Yes.
Your voice is breaking. I didn't get that question.
Sorry. No, I'm saying the first time a company or a brand came to you because of your popularity and said कि भाई ये endorse करो, get करो या article, what was your view then? Was something which you readily said कि हाँ मैं करूँगा या very कि मैं ये brand से नहीं करूँगा वो brand से? Do you have these thoughts?
नहीं,
The line.
There's this question that frequently comes up कि why do you want to do paid tweets, right? Or this is not ethical, this is not right. So there is a simple funda. Any online, there's any online content creator, is putting his hours, putting his time, attention to it,
sure,
and they have to survive as well. They have to pay bills as well. So what happens is there are only two models where you can survive, right? One is the ad revenue model, and another is a subscription model, right? Whether you tell people that fine, this is my content, you pay this money to consume my content, or if there's no mechanism as such, like let's say Twitter, where Twitter is not putting a paywall to read your tweets, what you do is you say that fine, going to ad revenue. So let's say a Netflix, what Netflix does is basically it's a subscription model. There's no ad, right? A Hotstar might do both. It can do an ad revenue plus a subscription model, right? So it subsidizes your subscription with ads, right? So now as a content creator, I'm sitting on Twitter. I have given 10 years to this platform. Every day I wake up and want to create something. So there is social validation as well. That is there. But then there has to be a monetary component as well. And otherwise, I keep telling people that if suppose you are not able to monetize your hobby, it dies.
Yeah.
You will be a painter in your childhood. You would have painted a lot. And because you were not able to monetize it, it must have been like 10 years ago you painted something. So it's as simple as that, right? So it's necessary. I mean, you need to sustain it, right? There has to be to sustain it. So that's what it is. And when you ask how do you differentiate कि मैं ये करूँगा, ये नहीं करूँगा? Simple फंडा है कि if suppose I'm using the brand, if I use it in my daily life, I'll do it, right? And if suppose some
that helps you make a decision.
Agarwal Sweet House comes to me from Saharanpur again. So I would.
Saharanpur's a connection.
I wouldn't do it. Maybe like I don't know. Yeah, I have not used it. I might not just peddle something which I haven't used. So that is the only thing. Right? And brands are also becoming aware now, right? I mean, not everyone will use Twitter to promote stuff. They know what kind of audience is here, right?
Of course.
The reach is limited, and
there's much bigger platforms to do that. Yeah.
Twitter is a platform where there are less people but very highly engaged, right? The engagement is really high. I mean, kind of suppose you have 10 people, they will be spending 10 hours here, rather than 100 people on Netflix or 100 people on Instagram spending 1 minute, right? So kind of engagement Twitter has, so similar kind of brands come here, right? So this is my marketing MBA talking. So
that's a couple last questions. What did your family, your parents make of all this? When they say, were they aware of Twitter? Kya hai now the growth? How have they seen, like your inner circle, the growth of you on Twitter?
See, inner circle again is not on Twitter. Right.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
So yeah, like they find that he does something. They say he's on Twitter, he does this. Now okay, hoga kuch kiya hoga isne pata nahi. So that part, Twitter is like that. Yeah, I mean, Twitter can never make you famous.
Yeah.
You will be someone who is doing some content there and interacting with intelligent, nice people and talking to them. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, how it does is basically because it's a network of people who are influential in their own circles, right?
Absolutely.
These guys will be local influencers. If suppose there is a one person who is looked at by other people as someone who's intelligent, or maybe let's say knowledgeable, right? That guy would be on Twitter. So if suppose I'm able to influence this person, he will be able to influence locally 10 more people who are not on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how basically this medium still survives. Otherwise, बहुत सारे हैं, TikTok, Hello,
बहुत सारे. So the list is very, very, very long.
So this has survived because this has its own utility, right? It's become, you can say, it's a government's customer care. It's a diplomatic channel as well for different leaders to talk to stuff, right? So it has multiple utilities. People have figured out, and the one thing that has they haven't changed the product much, right? It's still 140 to 280 kar diya, like in the interface is the same kind of stuff you do. So that's where it has created its own niche. So अच्छा है, चल रहा है, चलेगा आगे.
One last question. Have you ever, you mentioned all these different platforms. Have you ever thought of, perhaps getting into one of these ones and doing the same thing, or you're just happy doing it on Twitter?
See, the thing is now, I'll give you what I had in mind when I actually started this business of mine, right? So what happens is any content creator, right? He goes through this relevance curve, or relevance window, you can say, where he'll be relevant for these many years, right? And he has to maximize that is revenue or fame or whatever in that time to have a long tail. Let's say I'll give you Raju Srivastava. Raju Srivastava was the numero uno stand-up comedian in 2006 to 2012, 4-5 years. He was there, right?
Yep.
He acted in a lot of movies as well, but he's
been around. He's been acting since the Maine Pyar Kiya days and probably before. Imagine the journey.
Exactly, and then he shot to fame with real fame, actually, with Great India Laughter Challenge, right? And then suddenly he was there. He used to be there everywhere, right? Everybody used to call him in. So what happened? He was on TV. So I don't know if at this date he can fill an auditorium in Bombay, in let's say Bandra. And Abhishek Asthana or Kunal do it. But it's difficult, I think, for Raju Srivastava to fill up an auditorium, because people are over his stuff. ठीक है यार, ये मिमिक्री करता था, ये करता था, वो करता था, अच्छा है, मिडिल क्लास ह्यूमर है, बढ़िया है. तो अब वो हो चुका है. तो every artist goes through that relevance window. So so there's a journey from becoming a creator to an enabler. So once you are a creator, right, so you create content, and then what will happen is you'll get old, and there'll be newer people coming in who will be far smarter than you. Even on Twitter, I've been here for 10 years. Now there are so many new people that have come in, work funnier than me, who get far more engagement than me, right? So the point is that you have to move to a place where from becoming a creator, you have to become an enabler, where you get these people in and create an outfit, right? And because you have been in the curve early, so you know how to monetize this business, right? So you know the business of it. So once you get these guys in, and like what AIB did, AIB, basically these guys were creators.
Yep.
Made a business out of it. They got really bright young people in. They made a good team, and whatever happened later, but till the time they were there, they had a really good outfit, right? Young, bright people in, out of college.
Leaders,
Yeah, really, really funny, really smart. And these were the guys who knew business, who had the contacts and everything. And as an outfit, they were complete. So the thing is, that journey you have to make. So now I thought that fine. Now I'll move to advertising or where I can make a business out of it. I can get new people, and make something which lasts longer than in a single contract, right? So that was the thing.
So and that's the MBA. That's a basic the value you talk about, the MBA at work, that whole dream which you said you're not gonna differ from that dream about having the job be the priority. I guess I think that's a good note to also wrap it up, because again you've summed up what Gabbbar is, but again what you have been
that's important actually
striving to do, that is keep the house running, keep the family healthy and safe, and that typical middle class dream you said of having your own job. So
create jobs as well. I mean the biggest.
Yeah, of course.
To service to the nation you can do it to create jobs, get more people, get more vacancies, right? So I think that's the best philanthropy you can do.
Bilkul. Thank you, Abhishek, for your time. Abhishek Urf Gabbbar Singh with 3 Bs. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and of course we'll have our own little discussions on Twitter. Sometimes we have little disagreements, but that's the whole fun of the game. And especially when it comes to Bollywood and cricket, that's the zone where I really like to follow you. But मेरी personal choice है ये.
For cricket and Bollywood, I look up to you. For all your whatever you suggest on Netflix and Prime, I really
Just I don't know about that movie Parasite, but like I said, I was out in 42 minutes watching Parasite, and then someone replied saying, no, it actually starts in the 44th minute. मैंने कहा ठीक है दोस्त, तुम्हारे लिए मैं वो 2 मिनट दोबारा रिवाइंड करूंगा और देखूंगा कि क्या होगा उस पे. बट थैंक यू अभिषेक फॉर योर टाइम. ग्रेट टॉकिंग टू यू.
Thanks a
टेक
lot.
केयर.